Yeah, whenever you're ready.
John, you ready?
I am ready.
All right, guys, welcome to an incredibly special chuck load of comics broadcasting right here from C2E2, the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. We're about to do something I've been wanting to do all day. A, relax. B, talk about movies with the main man from Collider Movie Talk, Collider Heroes, the Schmodown, all over YouTube, Mr. Jay Washington.
I'm happy to be here.
Applause.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad to be here and be home at the same time. I'm born and raised in Chicago. Everybody who knows me on the internet knows that. So to be home at a con like this and the love I've been getting from everybody has been just surreal and amazing. And I'm so grateful for it, man. I'm grateful to be on here to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Talking movies, talking all that. So this is what I do. Let's get into this. You know
man, this is a breath of fresh air. The con is crazy this year.
Yo, it's always bananas. And one of the things, like, the cosplay is amazing. I just was over at the cosplay area before here. And the level of work and dedication people put into these costumes, like, they go the whole year trying to put these things together to every fine detail. And it's so dope. And then when you see the different iterations thing, I saw a Deadpool Green Lantern.
Oh, man, I've seen some of the funniest Deadpools I've ever seen. I saw a quantum suit Deadpool that somebody made.
Yeah,
they saw the trailer
and
instantly went home and made like the coolest looking quantum realm suit I've ever seen.
Wait, the trailer just came out like
last week.
Like last week, so you had time to do that. Like, that is bananas,
People
man.
are on it.
Hey, geez. So,
people, you know, they know how to make their
Give them the
costumes.
credit.
I mean, it's always fun, man. I love seeing it, man. I love the work. I one year came here. I made myself a Deathstroke costume.
Nice.
I modeled it off Deathstroke from Arrow, from Manu Bennett's. I spent $1,600 that year buying all the pieces.
My gosh.
It was originally supposed to be a Halloween costume, but I said, damn that, I'm going to get more than just Halloween out of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get 10 years out of this.
I walked through the con that year, and my videographer, who's here with me right now, Dana, she was like, are you okay? I was like, hell no, I'm hot. I can't breathe. Because it had layers
costume.
I slowly just started, can I leave? I got to go. She was like, what's wrong? I was like, I got to go. I'm tired. I can't do this. I'm hot. I can't do this. And so I did it one year because I was supposed to be covering it, but I ended up being like a cosplayer for the day. So it was great. But I was like, no more Jesus. No more.
Yeah, same thing.
No more, Lord.
It's fun making them, but it's not fun walking around
Not
in them all
at
day.
all. Not at all.
Let's get into some of the superhero movies that have dropped this year. And let me just say, what a time to be alive. I didn't think 2018 would have been able to be topped, and here we are in 2019. We are in the Endgame.
Well, I think, nobody thought, even before we got 2000's X-Men, we would be at the point where we are today. You know what I'm saying? Where we're inundated with comic book properties and not getting tired of it.
Exactly.
I know, that's
Because there are a lot of people like, oh, this whole comic book movie phase is just a fad. It's going to die out. But every time a new film comes out, you have the box office numbers showing that people want to run to these and multiple times. So everybody is like, oh, it's going to die out. It's eventually going to slow down. I don't see any signs of it. They're adapting new properties that aren't Marvel and DC every single day.
Exactly.
And they're turning them into these blockbuster films.
Yeah, and the quality has held up. I don't know any movie franchise where the quality has not only not gotten worse, but it's gotten way better year after year. 15, 16 movies now from Marvel.
Actually, 22.
22.
22.
I lost count after
22. I think the thing is
Iron Man 2.
Well, I think the thing is with that, like I said on Collider Heroes before, is you have these movies and you set a standard at one point, and then you realize, oh, so we did this, now we can do that. So now we can do that, we can go and modify this, and we can do all those different things. So I think that's what's bringing the benefit of it. Then you have the other studios who are like, okay, here's the blueprint of how we make superhero films. It don't have to be superhero franchises, but how we make superhero films. Here's the blueprint. So we'll do that, and then we'll add our own take onto it, and we'll make them better.
They stick to a blueprint, but it's not. They're all so different.
They're all different.
You get Marvel getting all these new directors giving their own takes on things. Like you compare like Thor Ragnarok to Black Panther. It looks nothing like Iron Man.
Which is great,
but is wonderful.
I hear a lot of people argue about, oh, well, the storyline is somewhat the same. But the thing is, with the storylines to them, Marvel has set up a storyline.
Yeah.
Marvel has a storyline they've been setting up since 2008 with Iron Man. They had a plan, an agenda of what they were going to do, and we've gotten to it. We will get it next month with Endgame.
Yep.
So I think people need to just if you want something that continues and builds and grows, that's what Marvel is. Granted, it's had that long standing. It's had that, that longevity in it. So I don't know. I just hate people getting upset about it sometimes.
Well, right off the bat, man. First year of 2000.
You said
first,
Batman.
Batman. I did say Batman.
you did say Batman.
Man,
Right
you
off
got
the
your ears
bat,
on, Shauna.
By the way, Sean, I love your Jubilee.
Thank you.
I love your Jubilee.
Captain Marvel kicked off 202019 with a
Yes. It was. Go ahead. I'll let you finish before I say anything about that.
bang. No, I want to get your opinion of Captain Marvel.
So
how many times have you seen it? Did it improve after you watched it
I've
multiple
seen it
times?
twice.
Yeah.
I've loved it each time because I understand what the film is. I understand it's not meant to be this major blockbuster movie that comes out and has this grandiose action scale as what we saw in Avengers Infinity War.
Exactly.
Or what we're going to see in Endgame. It's a setup to the character who Carol Danvers is. Now, when I said, oh boy, it's because in film Twitter, you know, all of us who work on Collider, who work on Nerdist, we all see the trolls talking about, oh, this movie is going to do this, it's going to bomb, it's not going to be good, before they've even seen it.
Right.
And everybody was like, is that going to affect the box office? I kept telling people, it's not going to touch the box office.
Yeah.
They were like, what do you mean? I'm like, look, this is a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Marvel has a dedicated fan base that is going to come out no matter what. And,
they did.
you know, it helps to have the star power of Brie Larson. It helps to have a Ben Mendelsohn who stole the show. It helps to have a Jude Law, Samuel L. Jackson.
Doesn't hurt to have a cat either.
And a cat that is the star of the movie.
We're going to talk about a marketing campaign. Those posters
I
they came out with
But
little.
little did you know what the cat was going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think, you know, people have to stop trying to downplay something because it's not what they think it should be.
Yeah.
You know, again, dealing with all the trolls on the internet telling some, oh, this is such an agenda-based movie and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Like,
No.
people tried to compare it to Wonder Woman. You cannot compare this to Wonder Woman.
Right.
And the fact that they try to compare it to Wonder Woman just because it has a female lead
Right.
character makes
absurd.
absolutely no sense. I mean,
Right.
if you read comic books, a guy can like a female character in a book. A girl can like a
Absolutely.
male character in a book. You know, it's not like. How do
They're
I
not
say this?
mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Just because you have a woman in a lead role doesn't mean it has to have a woman director. If you have,
But I think we've hit that point where some people are so, you know, blindsided by their own narrow-minded visions.
Yeah.
That of this is what it has to be. This is what I think. I'm a fan. I know the best. This is what it should be. Of course, we as fans who've grown up on these properties, we want them to be a certain way. But we cannot. People forget. You cannot take the exact pages of a comic book and translate them directly into a movie.
Yeah.
It
Right.
does not work.
Right.
There has to be changes and twists.
it'd be a 30-minute movie.
Be a 30-minute film, and you wouldn't even understand it because you'd be like, wait, what?
Right.
So you have to add different things to it. You have to add a little bit of elements. You have to add action. You have to add story. You have to add heart to it.
Right.
And so that's what we've gotten out of all of these films thus far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd have told me 5 years ago that the movie I was looking forward to most in April was Shazam, I'd say, wow, you're crazy. Not on a month where Endgame is coming out. And then, but I got to say, everything, all the promotional stuff I've seen for Shazam, Zachary Levi crushing it, is just blowing my mind. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen. I'll be seeing
Okay.
it on Tuesday. But
Oh,
so
lucky.
let me say this. I'll have to clarify my stance on this so people understand. The first time I heard Zachary Levi was cast as Shazam, when I was doing my old podcast, I was like, why are we doing the dude from Chuck?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
No offense to anybody with the name.
Right. No offense. I'm sorry, man. Look,
It's all good.
my apologies. But it's like I get the name draw, but it's like when you hear Shazam, when you hear him playing the big cheese himself, you think a certain type of character. I was so adamant about why isn't John Cena playing this role?
Yeah.
Because John Cena has the build, he has the humor, he knows how to act like a kid. He can do this. Now, I started seeing the trailers. I was like, okay. Matter of fact, it wasn't even the trailers. It was those beats
set
behind the
photos.
scenes, the set
Yeah.
photos, which I know as somebody who works in industry, I'm not supposed to trust those set photos. I
Right.
get it. But when I saw all this open space where I could put my hand through, I'm like, that's my issue. I understand it's going to have a padded suit. I understand that there's going to be the makeup department is going to do, and art department are going to do things. But it's like, I want him to fill this suit out to an extent. And we saw the trailer, and the one scene where he's leaning in after he gets shot, I was like, you see all that air right there? And it was like, people were like, well, why are you upset about that? I'm like, I want Shazam to be a certain way.
Yeah.
But I started watching more of the trailers. I started, getting more into the film as it goes forward. And I'm like, okay, I'm excited for it. And then like Perry Nemiroff and Christian Harloff and all of them were like, yo, have you seen Shazam yet? And I'm like, no, stop asking.
Shut up.
Stop asking.
Why
me.
do we share an office again? I don't remember.
Because some of us will see certain films and stuff. Because I was
yeah.
in the Collider office, and it was like, have you seen Shazam yet? I'm like, no. I haven't. And it was funny because I was upset because even my buddies from DC Movie News, they had got the screen. Of course, they do DC Movie News.
Right.
So I tweeted out, I said, oh, I must not be plugged then. Literally an hour and a half after I tweeted that out, IMAX DM'd me personally. Was like, hey, Jay, we want to personally invite you to an IMAX screening at the IMAX headquarters. I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to be there. What you think? I'm not going to go?
In about 3 days, right?
I'll be there at the IMAX screening, man. I was supposed to go see Dumbo on Monday, but I was like, I think I got better things to do.
Shazam or
Like,
Dumbo?
well,
I don't
Shazam's
know.
on Monday. Shazam's on Tuesday. Dumbo's on Monday, but I probably won't go
Nice.
see Dumbo. So
Yeah.
A movie that, when I first heard R-rated Hellboy, Neil Marshall, I got super duper excited.
of course.
I was like, this is the Hellboy movie I've wanted for a long time. And I love the original Hellboy, the Ron Perlman stuff.
The Guillermo
Yeah.
del
Guillermo
Toro
del
stuff.
Toro one, but then I saw the first trailer for Hellboy. Very underwhelming in my opinion. If I can put it
No,
so
go ahead.
bluntly.
Yeah.
It didn't look like an, oh man, it's Hulk Hogan.
What's happening, brother?
Did not look like an R-rated Neil Marshall movie to me.
No,
at
it
all.
was very
No.
humorous.
It looked like a cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember that, and I'll never forget because, again, back on Movie Talk, it was me, Perry Nemiroff, and Haley Fouch, and we were talking about it, and I was like, the only way Hellboy will sell anybody is the next trailer has to be a red band one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And less than 24 hours after we filmed that,
Pikachu.
the red band trailer dropped.
Yeah.
And
Much better trailer.
And everybody was like, oh, damn, I got to go see Hellboy now. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I really got to go see Hellboy now. Because I was like, yeah, David Harbour's going to play silly with the role as he's supposed to. But
Right.
at the same time, it's like there's something we come to expect. There's a level of horror we come to expect. And Guillermo del Toro is that director that can give you horror. He gave us a woman loving a fish and won an Oscar for it.
Yeah,
I know,
right.
right?
You know, so if
Bestiality
any dudes
there.
look like, so any men look like fish, you can get your shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it too. It's just it's surreal to know because again, reboots to me, when I hear reboot, I'm like, yo, do we need it? I mean, sometimes yeah, you can reboot things. We rebooted the X-Men. We're gonna reboot them again. But it's certain ones you're like, all right, but the director that gave us this, that stamp that's on this,
Yeah.
I don't want to change
And
that.
he hasn't
I know.
completed his trilogy.
And he hasn't completed his trilogy.
That's the worst part
So
of
that
it.
was the thing that got everybody.
Golden Army left on just an amazing cliffhanger.
Yes, it
wide
did.
open. Baby Hellboy's on the way, and then we just did. The fact that we're never going to see that third movie is a little bit bummer. But I mean, I got faith in Neil Marshall. I love The Descent.
Yeah.
Fantastic horror movie. He knows what to do with makeup and practical effects, or so I thought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
And I-
real unprofessional for a second.
Go
Hey
for it.
Dana, can I get that water? Because my mouth is drier than this carpet.
Let's
Hey,
all have a sip.
understood. I've been doing
I'm
this
out.
too.
I was like, oh, it's in the back of my throat.
Aw.
Well, there's another movie coming out in April. I don't know if you've heard.
What movie?
It's this little movie called Avengers Endgame.
What is that?
It's the one.
Well, let us
You know
tell
that
you.
trailer
Thank you
that
to my
dropped?
thank you to my videographer Dana
Thanks,
Griffin.
Thank you, Dana. Tony, first trailer dropped for Endgame. That first teaser. Your thoughts? I mean, jaw on the floor. I know we haven't seen the holy crap trailer yet, or I don't know. Maybe Jay has. But
Hey man, I'm not revealing what I've seen.
hold on a sec. What have you seen?
Have you seen the movie?
Have you seen the movie?
I am not revealing what I've seen, what I've heard, what I know. I'm
Okay.
not.
Not
I
a-
haven't. I will say I have not.
What?
I will say I have not seen the whole film yet. I have not
The
seen
whole
Endgame
film?
yet.
Yeah.
The whole. I will be seeing the whole film very soon before it comes out. Of course, that's a good thing to have. But I'll let Tony finish with how he felt about the trailer.
Dang it, Jay.
The expectation's so high. I'm so it's,
Yeah,
I saw it and I just the April 26th cannot come soon enough.
I know. I was a little bummed when I heard they were moving it off of Free Comic Book Day weekend.
But I
to,
don't know why people didn't think it was going to happen anyway. They
happened
did it
with
with
the last one.
it
They did
happened
it
with
with
Infinity
Infinity
War.
War, yeah.
So basically, like Shazam has almost just a week and a half, if that, to try to make box office numbers because Hellboy is right behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hellboy only has like 2 weeks to make numbers because right after that, Endgame comes out and
Yeah.
ain't nobody making no money
And
after
then
that.
everything- yeah.
Ain't nobody making no money
For
when
like
Endgame
6
drops.
months.
Well, until Detective Pikachu comes out and
And-
crushes
and-
box office records.
Oh. Of
If
course.
Detective Pikachu let me tell you something.
Don't tell me you're not excited for
Hold on.
Detective Pikachu.
Let me,
we got
let me-
Detective Pikachu
let me-
fans right
let
out
me
here.
express my thoughts, and if you don't like how I feel about it, at me on Twitter, at Mr. J. Washington. I do not care. At me on Twitter. We're so hyped behind Ryan Reynolds' voice and characters after Deadpool. And it looks a bit cute. You know, with Ryan being the real life voice of Pikachu, and then hearing him go Pika Pika, every night. You know what I'm saying?
Great.
But the question
Sold me.
becomes, how silly does this movie get, or how cartoonish? Because we know what the Pokemon are. We know they're cartoon characters, but they trying to make it this live action thing. Now, granted, when I saw that big ass Charizard, I was like,
Right.
let me get my ticket. I saw that, but it's just certain things. I mean, but that Detective Pikachu is gonna make money though.
I think it's going to do great. I think
Yeah.
it's going to, I mean,
What is it, like May 18th it drops?
it's 2 weeks after Endgame.
Okay, so yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
I had no interest in Pokemon, and then when I heard this, Detective Pikachu, like it's not just a Pokemon movie, but I saw the trailer and I was exactly like you.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
I was
where's
like,
when
hooked.
can I get my ticket?
Immediately, it's Cold War people, our sponsors.
Shouts out to the sponsors that keep things going.
Right.
Everybody's into Endgame. Everybody's super excited. What are your thoughts on Dark Phoenix based on what we've seen so far?
Oh, you ready for this one? All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like a Jay Washington unfiltered opinion of X-Men Dark Phoenix, here it goes.
Oh, God.
If you don't like it, you can at me about it. Why are we remaking X-Men The Last Stand over again? Have we not learned from the last time that was a horrible concept of trying to do it this time? You tried to shoehorn everything into this one. You should have never done another film after Apocalypse because Oscar Isaac looked like Ivan Ooze. Should have never happened. Should have never happened. You decide you're going to do Dark Phoenix because for some reason we just have to do the Phoenix Saga, but we can never do it right. So you feel like you're doing that. You think you got a great Jean Grey and Sophie Turner, and you don't.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
you don't. Let's call it for what it is. James McAvoy can only do so much. Nicholas Hoult can only do so much. Jennifer Lawrence should stay at home because she does not
Stay
want to
at
be
home.
Mystique.
That's
Yeah.
right.
If you looked at that trailer, Mystique is a darker blue. When you looked at the trailer, Mystique had one coat.
Yeah.
Coat. She was like, you just doing my face and my fingers,
Yeah.
and that is it. Don't
Yeah.
you touch me.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be a part of this, don't be a part of it. There are plenty of people who want to take the role. The fact that this movie is going to happen is going to be horrible because now Disney is not going to push it. I promise you. Disney
Yeah.
is going to let it drop.
Yeah.
Disney going to let it come out, but it's not going to be a blockbuster and a spectacle. And then if you want to go further, New Mutants is not going to see the light of day.
I was
I
going to get into
know.
New Mutants
New
a
Mutants
little
will
bit.
never see the light
You
of
don't
day.
think it'll drop on the Disney streaming
I don't
service
think,
or
I
nothing?
think it'll drop off the face of this planet.
You think it's just gonna
because
disappear?
again, it's not Disney losing money for that.
Right.
It's not Disney taking
That's
a
true.
loss. The acquisition of Fox is what it is. They got that, so they can decide to go with projects. They won't do projects. I hope to God they tell Channing Tatum, go your ass somewhere and ride on a skateboard or dance somewhere because you are not going to be Gambit. Certain things like that. I hope. What the frick is his name? The dude Noah something from Fargo. He made Legion, all that
Hawley.
stuff. Noah Hawley. Yeah, I
no,
couldn't
yeah.
remember. We'll draw the blank. I hope Noah Hawley gets his Doctor Doom script out.
Yeah.
Because let him do Doctor Doom like Doctor Doom should be done.
Yeah.
I hope Peyton Reed gets his Fantastic Four idea where it's set in the
Yes.
60s. Let this come out because if you set it in the 60s, you can set up him seeing T'Chaka's father, not T'Challa, T'Chaka's father,
Yeah.
because the first introduction of the Black Panther is in issue 52 of the Fantastic Four. I want those things to happen.
Yeah.
I wish Dark Phoenix never was a concept. I wish they never went past Days of Future Past. You rebooted and retconned the universe after Days of Future Past. Sent
Getting sweaty over
everybody
here.
home. You know, shouts out to King Sweaty John Schnepp. I love you, bro. Miss
Oh,
you.
man.
But you retconned after Days of Future Past. Let it be what it is. It's done.
So you do want to see it?
Hell no. But guess what's going to happen?
I think you have an opinion about
Because
this.
here's the thing, I have an opinion about it. No, I've never been shy about my opinion of Dark Phoenix.
Thank
But everybody
goodness.
knows, Jay Washington don't like the movie, but Jay Washington gonna go see it because Jay Washington has to. But it's like, is Jay Washington giving it a positive review? Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably not.
I think you're going to love it. I think it's going to come out. It's going to blow your mind.
This is the first movie I'm going into with a fifth of tequila.
Yeah.
Just because I think
there
I
you
need
go.
to be drunk to enjoy it. Because I'm like, I'm
We
here.
shall see.
I'm like, I'm here. Why are we here? Let's do this.
I want to see the Sinbad Shazam movie.
Yeah.
So tell
Anybody
me
else?
Tell me where the Berenstain Bears are.
Berenstain.
Berenstain, okay? And Mandela actually had died at one point. I remember when he died. I cried, okay? I said, what Winnie gonna do?
All right, so the last big movie I want to get into, Jay, Joker, October 4th.
Hold on.
Silence.
I was, let me just say, super excited for Joaquin Phoenix. Loved those first promo shots we saw of him and that little, all the little stuff, the little cell phone videos that have been dropping. I've really been digging. I personally wasn't super stoked with just the standard traditional clown makeup. It didn't work for me, but I loved that screen test they did. The little screen.
I think it's more
That's
so
when
an
it set me
ode.
off.
I think what we see, the Joker look that he has is an ode to Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
More,
Yep.
That's why we have the suit the way it is. I was of the mind when we first heard about it, I was like, why is this even happening?
Right.
Yeah.
You and everybody
I was like, yo,
else.
we still got the Grand Theft Auto version of the Joker in Jared Leto over there, because that was not the Joker. That was just some dude who had a bad day from his parents, and he was like, I'm just gonna tattoo a smile on my hand.
Joker, the strip club owner.
Literally, like he literally owns the club, and Harley started out as a dancer, not
Yeah.
his psychiatrist. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I was like, we don't need it. But then originally Martin Scorsese was attached to it, and then you say Todd Phillips is directing. I'm like, all right, whatever. Then they're like, who's playing the Joker? Joaquin Phoenix. I'm like, well, he's
Okay.
crazy in real life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is him. Like, this is like Joaquin Phoenix is like Robert Downey Jr. 15, 20 years ago. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
He's that, might not do it. Like, so I see the trailer, but then again, it's like DC is trying to. I know they're separating themselves,
Yeah.
and I know what they're doing. But why do you? I know you want a brand new universe as opposed to one Snyder had, but you really don't need a Joker origin movie that is based off the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I know a lot of people like, yo, the Killing Joke was a good movie. There was no
Second
reason.
half was good
There was
movie.
no reason to see Batman and Batgirl boning on the roof of a
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
There was
Right.
no reason.
Yeah. The
There was
second
no
half of the
reason to
movie
see
was
that.
good. That whole first section.
But
What was that?
But the problem I still have with the Killing Joke is we found an origin story. I think the Joker works best as a villain. We don't know where he came from.
Yeah.
We don't know why he is the way he is. Because when you find out how a villain became a villain, you start to sympathize with him.
Right.
And I'd be damned if I sympathize with a dude who cuts your throat and laugh at the same time. I don't want to be.
I'm gonna agree with you. Holy crap, I like that.
Hey, yo,
How
he
did you
looked-
know we were talking about
Yo,
you?
because he looked like a sentinel that was like, man, we're not gonna finish all this. And it was.
Guys, the Sentinel that just walked by looking like $1 million. I'm gonna have. I
Monopoly
agree
money?
and disagree with you just a little bit
Okay.
on the Joker origin story, only because of the Tim Burton, Jack Nicholson Joker. I liked that origin. I thought it's what fans of that time,
Wanted.
of 1990, needed to see. Just to get themselves introduced into. But I do agree that we live in a world now where we don't need to see where these characters are coming from. We're so used to seeing comic book characters in our day-to-day life
Yeah.
that you can just throw them at you. You can just throw Black Panther at somebody in the middle of somebody else's movie, and they'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's Black Panther.
This is where I disagree about that. Yeah, you need some, or heroes are a different story.
Yeah.
A hero, we need the origin of the hero.
Good
A
point.
villain, I don't want to know, except for Thanos. Shout out to the Mad Titan podcast. Mine, go ahead and subscribe. But I think Thanos' origin worked because we knew how crazy he was. Also, I needed to know how they were going to sway the story, the Infinity Gauntlet story, instead of him courting death the entire time. Now he wants the stones.
Right.
And so to see how we still don't have his origin in a sense.
Nope.
We just know Titan was a beautiful place. It was plentiful. And then I told him, like, yo, we should kill half of everybody.
Let's do it.
And they was like, what? And he was like, yeah, kill him. We'll have more food. And they was like, man, you crazy. So he killed half of everybody anyway. And actually the whole planet. But I don't think the Joker is a character that you really need to know why he became who
Yeah.
he is. The mysticism behind him. As much as people will say about Heath Ledger's Joker, we never knew what made him the way he
Right.
is.
He
That's
told you
very
4
true.
different stories.
Four
of his
different
own,
stories.
of like how he got his scars
And
every
you
time.
never
and that
know.
was a brilliant piece of writing right
and
there.
you never know how he
Yeah.
had became the way he is. We never knew what Cesar Romero's Joker was.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like we don't need this now, because you're going to watch a failed stand-up comedian, and as a stand-up comic, I know what it's like to bomb. I know what it's like to get off stage like, well, I made the wrong decision with my goddamn life. I know about those things, but I don't think we need that in this case. But I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this goes forward, because this is a younger Joker. This is going to meet a younger Thomas Wayne. There is no Bruce. There aren't any more supervillains yet, because the Joker's pretty much the first in this universe.
So you must hate Gotham, the TV show, because that is nothing but origin stories for villains. That show, start to finish, is one villain origin story.
Well,
after the
would
other.
y'all like to know my thoughts on Gotham? Why did it still happen? So here was, I was going to ride with Gotham when I first heard it. I was like, okay, it's not the origin of Batman. It's Jim Gordon in the GCPD, right?
It's
And then
year one.
It's without that, and it's not even year one. It's the story of Jim Gordon. But then they told you it's Ben McKenzie. I'm like, the dude from the OC.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
playing
man.
Jim Gordon.
Big shout
And
out
then-
to the OC.
And then you watch the first season and you're like, oh, nobody cares about Gordon. And clearly the writers and the production staff learned, because they were like, okay, now we got to start shifting this focus. We got to
Right.
put Bruce more in the storylines. Don't get me wrong, I like David Mazouz as an actor, but yo, you are
He is
not Batman, bro.
no,
Right.
no,
You look
far
like
from
you
it.
are a half step away from being a Dom. You know what I'm saying? With all the leather you wearing, bro.
And the
Like,
older he gets, and he now, I don't know if you're probably not watching the show anymore.
you know why I didn't want to watch season
But
5?
you got that little kid beating up gangs
Grown
of
men.
people
Yeah.
in alleyways. And I'm like, you and your butler are not taking out the entire gang of
First
guys.
of all, you don't have armor, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're just 16-year-old Bruce Wayne. Also, you shouldn't get shot in the face like your mama. You know what I'm saying? In an alley in Gotham.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. But that was another issue, too, because we're following his story, right? But we're also seeing the rise of the villains, the Penguin, the Riddler, the Mad Hatter, and so on and so forth. Well,
They're going deep into the villains.
well, Bruce has to leave to go train by Ra's al Ghul, who's clearly dead, but not dead.
Right.
But he has to train for 7 years. So by the way Gotham's timeline worked, by the time Bruce came back, half the villains are getting their AARP cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You're exactly right.
You know, so it confused me. Also, it's like, we got cell phones, but old computers. We got cameras that crank, but a nice car. I was like, what year is this?
Yeah.
And it was like, just look at it as alternate timeline. I'm like, no. I look at it like everybody in the writer's room did cocaine together and was like, this was going to happen. Like, that's literally how it felt.
Well, Jay,
Oh man.
you have some opinions, my man.
I love it.
I mean, people think that I would like just to rag on stuff, but I don't like to rag. I want to be.
no.
I'm the dude that's going to be honest about stuff, and I'm going to say how I feel at times. Like I said, if you don't like it, tweet me. I don't care. Bring it. Get out your feelings.
Yeah.
But no, it's just I'm gonna say what needs to be said about things, because everybody wants to say, oh, this is a great idea. Oh, this is great. This is good. This is good. It's not, because there were times even with the MCU, I was like, why are we doing Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I said,
And
why?
then,
I
lo
said,
and behold.
I was like, nobody knows who the Guardians of the
Right.
Galaxy are. Why are we doing this movie?
Yeah.
And it turns out I was wrong. We did it, and now we have a super successful Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So it's just having those opinions on it, man.
Yeah, well, last question.
Love
We've
it.
covered pretty much all you guys who are just joining us. We've covered just about every single superhero movie coming out in 2019, plus a couple of other things.
Yes.
Last thing I want to get into before we wrap this up, the Fox-Disney deal is a done deal. What do you think? Are we going to see any X-Men, any hints to the Fantastic Four, anything going on at the post-credit sequence of Endgame?
Wait, I kind of have to stop you because
'Cause
he
you might
already
already
told
know.
us that he
No,
knows
no.
some things.
I have
Uh-oh.
my theories. I have my
Okay.
theories. So
Theories are good.
This is in a perfect world theory. And before I set this up, this is how I know this can possibly happen. Do you remember when Avengers 1 came out? When the premiere happened, that post-credit scene with them getting Schwarmer wasn't done.
Yeah.
After the premiere, they filmed the post-credit scene. And I say that to say how easy it is to film a post-credit scene and just
Yeah.
insert it.
Absolutely.
What can happen is, at the end of Avengers Endgame, the universe is reset, because reality will never be the same no matter what. You can see potentially Tony Stark, Nick Fury give a call to either one of two people, Charles Xavier or Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Or-
hope it's Reed.
Or it's Reed. Or you could do this whole, somebody comes to Nick, and we need to talk about this new thing that's going around. What thing you talking about? Mutants. And they just finally say the word.
It's mutation.
And again, it doesn't have to mean we're instantly getting the film. It's saying they're in our universe now.
Yep.
But, also they got to recast the entire X-Men. I'm thanking God for that, because I'll be glad not to see Alexandra Shipp as Storm anymore. People say I'm wrong. You say
No,
I'm
you're
acting.
not wrong.
But yeah, I think that'll happen. I mean, I don't know if for sure we'll get that, though. That's my theory. Go ahead, Tony.
What you got?
No, I was just gonna go off of that and say, how do you feel about the possibility of Ryan Reynolds being the only one that makes the ship?
Well, I think that was definitely meant to happen. You could not recast Deadpool.
Yeah.
No audiences would not
Agreed.
accept, or no audience would accept another Deadpool after
Nope.
what Ryan Reynolds has given us. Not even just in the films, in the promo for it, where Deadpool
Yes.
appears everywhere.
Yeah.
The way he's done it. And the thing is, he's coming over, but Bob Iger has said, yeah, he'll come over, but he may not join the MCU.
Right.
Yeah.
So
In a whole nother universe.
but see, that's the beauty of Deadpool, though, because Deadpool is a fourth wall breaker.
Right.
Every time he references something, he can be like, well, there's another team out here doing it,
Right.
and I wish I was there with them.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Thanks, Fox.
thanks, things like that. Because remember how he used to say, even in Deadpool 2, they couldn't give us none of the other X-Men, and
Yeah,
they're just right there,
exactly.
they
They're-
close the
they
door.
close- yeah.
So I think that can happen with him. So I think it's a good thing. The only thing it sucks is a lot of people who've lost their jobs and are going to lose their jobs. I feel very sorry for them, because when you have that acquisition like that, it takes away from a lot of people's employment. For me, I'm like, oh, well, cool. Now I get early access to Legion. Now I get early access to if The Gifted comes back, because I already get early access to everything else. But I'm like, yeah, that's cool as far as reporting it and covering it and, knowing people on it. But it's just like, man, I feel sorry for people who lost their jobs at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does suck. Jay, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me, man.
We completely forgot about Spider-Man Far From Home. But
Oh, yo, that is at the end.
yeah, I know. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We'll save that one for next time,
Yes.
though, because, man, that Mysterio looks like something right
Oh.
off the page.
Oh, I
No,
thought he
that
was looking
Mysterio
for the
look.
cosplay Mysterio.
Jake
I'm like,
Gyllenhaal
where?
as Mysterio looks like a frat dude who was drunk as hell, woke up late and was like, I missed the costume party. What? I missed the party.
Yeah, but then he takes off flying and
Just flying there, and
pulling
you're
out
like,
some crazy
oh.
magic, and it looks badass.
Yeah, so.
But Jay, man, we can't thank you enough. All you guys who are watching this, you can see this entire interview up here on YouTube on Chuckload of Comics. So go to it, chuckloadofcomics.com, youtube.com/chuckloadofcomics. Click the subscribe button. Join us here every single Sunday for a breakdown of the week's nerdy headlines. Jay, where can people find you while you're in town?
You can find me, well, in town. I'm going to be doing shows tonight, 2 shows tonight and 2 shows tomorrow at the Laugh Factory on Belmont Broadway. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. It's MRJAY. You should really know how to spell Washington. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAY Washington 80. And check out my podcast, the Mad Titan Podcast, where I get you caught up on everything that's happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. If it's cape, cows, and masks, I am talking about it. It is legit barbershop talk for nerds, so come join in the convo.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah, man. We'll give a
Woohoo.
big round of applause
Thank
to
you,
Mr.
thank
Jay
you.
Washington.
Thank you,
Collider Movie Talk, Collider Heroes.
Everything, Collider,
Schmodown,
Collider
everything.
Sports.
He's all over the place, guys. So check him out. Jay Washington, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You can find us here at booth 1876 all weekend long here at the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo and on YouTube at Chuckload of Comics. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yay. Man,
I can't believe we